My name is Rick Cole. I'm a retired police officer. Was with the Edmonton City Police Service for about 30 years. And since then I've been hired by the Edmonton Catholic School District to be a stay advisor. And today we're going to talk a little bit about distracted walking. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And with me today is Casey. He's one of the students at one of my schools. And he may have some questions as we go along. And we'll try and get his insight as we go. Distracted walking is it's very similar to distracted driving. We get so engrossed and involved in our phones, we forget what's going on around us. My favorite analogy is it's wintertime, we got our hoodie up, we got our earbuds in, we got our cell phone plugged in, we got the music going, and we're walking home and we're seeing the world through a little tiny tunnel. So we're unaware of everything that's going on around us. Last year we had 4 kids hit by cars because they stepped off the curb in front of a car they didn't see coming. Now we've made all these fancy school zones and we slowed the cars down. It still takes a car going 30 kilometers an hour about 30 feet to stop. And if you step off in front of them at 20 feet, they're not stopping for another 10 feet, so you've been run over by both axles. And we're seeing that happening over and over again, where people simply walk in front of a moving vehicle. It's heartbreaking when it happens, but it's something that's happening. We were given eyes and ears to pay attention to our surroundings, and yet we're depriving those senses of working by putting all of these things in that are limiting our abilities to be safe. So it's kind of a painful lesson. This next part of it is our kids in junior highs and into high school are going to start working in the evenings. So they get off work at 10 o'clock at night when it's dark outside in the wintertime. And they're going to get on a bus and go home. And they've got money, so they've got the best ear pods, and they've got the newest, latest, greatest phone. And they've downloaded everything they can onto their phone with all their favorite music. So they have hours and hours and hours to go. So they get out of work, get on the bus. They got their music going. And we've had people come and sit as they walk past people on the bus, sit partway down in a bus. Should be a safe, simple thing. The part that they're not aware of is that there's a group of people on their right and a group of people on their left that don't like each other. And they've been yelling and arguing all the time, but the person's so distracted they don't even see them. And they sit right down in the middle of it. The next thing you know, they're in the middle of a scrap on the bus. And we've had people actually hurt in the middle of these scraps. So we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. Another thing that happens is kids get on the bus and they've heard all the talk. Okay, we'll sit at the front by the bus driver and we'll be there. And they've got their earbuds in, they've got their hoodies up and their tunnel vision going. And the next thing you know, they get off at their bus stop and they have to get off and walk east for half a block and then north for a quarter of a block and then east another half a block and they're home. So it's about a 2.5 minute walk from the bus stop. Easy peasy. But they don't pay attention to the 2 guys that got off behind them. And as soon as they go around the corner and turn, somebody comes up behind them and they hit them in the back, push them on the ground, and now they're sprawled out on the ground. One of the guys puts his knee in the middle of their back, they pull off their earbuds, or take their phones, or take their wallets, or their purses, and the next thing you know, these people have been robbed. And we couldn't count the number of times that happens, where people simply didn't pay attention. One of the easiest ways to avoid these things is to be aware of your surroundings. When you get on the bus, you notice who's there. When you walk down the hallway at a mall, you notice who's around. Is somebody paying attention to me? And then you walk forward and you do what you do. But be aware of what's happening around you, so you don't become the victim of an easy crime where you don't even know that somebody was there. And it's happening over and over again. We have guys walking in front of LRT trains and not even hearing the train as it's pounding its horn, and a 105-pound grade 7 student versus a 20,000-pound train isn't even a contest. And it's just a matter of phoning the parents and saying, sorry, you're going to be going to a funeral. This is the saddest thing that we ever want to share. We have to pay attention. We have to get the at least one earbud out. We have to get our heads paying attention. Keep our eyes so that we can see what's going on around us. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention when you're walking home. When you go to cross the road, stop and look both ways. Sounds like an elementary problem, but it's happening in our junior highs and high schools, where people simply are lost in their music, lost in whatever they're doing. We have students that are so busy playing their games when they're walking, they walk into the signposts or into fountains or fall over. We have to start paying attention because we're going to end up hurting ourselves when we don't.
Well, like sometimes when I'm like hanging out with my friends, like, you know, we walked across the street to like 7-Eleven or whatever, like get a pop or something. Like sometimes they're like on their phone and they're like not looking where they're going. So I'm just like, dude, just like look where you're going before you cross the road.
Yeah.
So.
See, and you just saved somebody's life. Because 2,000 pounds of car versus 110 pounds of boy,
No contest.
not a contest. No.